Happy Wednesday. Good afternoon, everybody. It is lunchtime, and I apologize. I had a bit of some technical difficulties, but we're here. We're back. We're better than ever. I am so excited to see everybody today. So today we're going to be talking about what happens essentially when homes sit on the market. What is the perception? What does that mean? Why do they sit? We're going to have a little bit of discussion about some real estate. We're going to have a little lunch. So let's jump right into it. So, first and foremost, let me just say yesterday I got into a bit of we'll call it an accident. And so I appreciate everybody that reached out, everybody that called, texted me, checked on me. I appreciate you. You are loved, and I appreciate that so much. When you have a situation where you have a car accident, when people talk like texting you and calling you and making sure you're good, like you gotta love on those people. So thank y'all so much. Okay. So when you put a house on the market and it just sits there, you don't get any offers in the first couple weeks, and it doesn't sell, what that tells you is something is misaligned. Typically, when a house is on the market and it doesn't sell within the first couple weeks or within that first 30 days, that simply means that something happened that you're either not paying attention to or you missed, and you need to go back and make a reevaluation, right? It's rarely just the market, the reason why the house didn't sell. Typically, it's something that happened. So we're going to go over those reasons that your house could be why your house didn't sell today. So, homes, all homes sell in some market, right? Homes sell in every market. There is not one market that a home was in and it didn't sell, right? Some homes just sell quicker than others, and that happens, and it's okay. But in most situations, the positioning, the pricing, the condition is the biggest differentiator between a house that sells quickly and a house that doesn't. So, understanding how to interpret the market better helps you to get your home sold, because it isn't the market that is rejecting your home, it's the buyers, unfortunately. So, the number one thing that is the reason why homes are stay on the market for too long is simply they are overpriced. When you don't get the pricing right, when you hit the market, you have to make adjustments very, very quickly. When you price homes based upon what the seller wants to get for the house instead of what the market or the buyers are willing to pay for the house, that's a misalignment. When a lot of times people have the philosophy of, oh, we'll start high and we can negotiate it down. Not in this market. That's going to be misaligned as soon as you hit the market. And buyers are smarter than they were when our parents bought houses, or really they're smarter than they were 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Buyers are watching your pricing history. They know that you either reduce the sales price or they know that you started too high and you've been on the market and you haven't had any price reductions. And so they're making adjustments based upon where you're priced at. It used to be where just the MLS would update your pricing history. Now, Zillow, Redfin, Homes.com, all those consumer home search sites, they give them the history. So make sure you're paying attention. Overpricing a house does nothing but creates hesitation, right? And it takes away some of the seller's negotiation power. And that is not what we want in this market. Excuse me. Number two, condition versus expectation. Buyers want perfection in this market. They don't want to come in and do any work to the house whatsoever. Not painting, not carpet. Excuse me. Most buyers don't want to do any work. Majority of buyers don't want to do any work. So they want something as perfect as they can possibly make it. They're comparing your house to another house. They want, hey, I don't have to do any work when I come in this house, so that's the house I want. And the house they have to do the least amount of work to is typically the one that's going to win. They're going to want the house that's move-in ready versus the house that needs updates. And if the house does need updates, their offer is going to be priced based upon having to make those updates when they move in. And anytime they have to do any kind of deferred maintenance, whether that be putting a new roof on the house, a new HVAC system, some plumbing or electrical updates, or updating some of the appliances, again, that's going to be an adjustment on the price, no question. Buyers are always going to assume that whatever they find in the inspection report, that there's going to be more than that that's needed. So make sure that you're paying attention to some of the deferred maintenance that's needed and some of the repairs that you can't get that you can get taken care of prior to you going on the market. Trust me, I know it sounds like it's something that could be a hassle, but it'll save you so much time and money in the long run. Make sure you're paying attention to it. Number 3, your first impression. I talk about it all the time. When houses hit the market, they should be first date ready. Think about the time where you got on the market. Think about the time that you went on your first date with someone. You made sure your hair was cut. You made sure you smelled good. You had on a great outfit. That's the same way that your house should hit the market. And literally look at your marketing and see if that's the best way to represent that property. Check the lighting on the photos. Have you done enough decluttering in the house? Also think about if you need to stage, if it's a vacant property, do you need to stage virtual or in person? And also look at your listing description and making sure that it's SEO appropriate, making sure that it's eye catching, and that it's giving a great description of what's going on with that property, whether it's an investment property or a property for your primary residence. Make sure that you're representing it in the best way possible. Understanding that buyers still, for I would say the last 20 years, have always started online with their home search. They start online first. So the homes that don't catch their eye online typically don't get seen in person either. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to those things as well. And number 4, misreading buyer behavior. If a buyer likes your house, they're going to move quickly on it. You're going to have an offer in your inbox that same night or the next morning. They're not going to drag their feet. Understanding that their silence is feedback. Don't ignore it. And understanding that a no offer or no offers on your house is also feedback and an answer. If you're not getting offers on your property within the first 2 weeks, if you're not getting showings, you guys, that is feedback. That means something has to be adjusted. So remember, if you don't have any showings and no offers within the first week that you hit the market, it's typically price. If you get on the market and you have showings within the first 2 weeks that the house is on the market, but you don't get any offers, it's something going on with the condition, which means you'll either need to adjust the condition of the property or you need to adjust the price. And sometimes you may have to adjust both. Number 5, ignoring early feedback. Like I said, within those first 2 weeks that the house is on the market, that's when you're going to get your most honest feedback from your open houses, from your agent showings. You're going to get the most honest feedback at those times. So if you're starting to hear like the same patterns, the same comments, you guys, that's what it is. And you need to make adjustments based upon that. Waiting too long to make adjustments could be very detrimental. So make sure that you're making those adjustments fairly quickly. So, excuse me. So what happens when a house sits on the market for a long period of time? Buyers start to think something is wrong with the property. Why is it still on the market? Why doesn't anyone want it? And now there's a whole narrative that they have created about your house that has absolutely nothing to do with the actual of what's going on. And that becomes more aggressive in their negotiations. Buyers can start asking for things that typically they might not have asked for before. I have an investor right now who is getting ready to put an offer on some land. He's being very aggressive on his offer that we're going to be submitting, simply because this land has been on the market for over 200 and some odd days. It just makes sense for him. And so the seller may or may not accept it. I'll keep y'all posted. It just kind of depends. Pricing is still going to be the number one factor of why your house sits on the market. Next is going to be condition. And third is simply going to be you're not making the right adjustments at the right time. You want to make sure that you're making these adjustments prior to you falling behind, because once you hit the market and you're overpriced, you're going to be chasing the market until you make a drastic price reduction or a drastic adjustment in the condition in order to get it sold. It's as simple as that. And then ideally, if a house is on the market for too long, it weakens the seller's negotiation positioning. That's just not what you want either. It just doesn't make sense to put a house on the market and just try it. Not in this market. This is not the market to try to sell a house. You're either motivated to sell it or you're not. And ideally, if you're motivated, let's have a conversation about the best strategy to get that done for you. So when homes sit on the market, make adjustments quickly. Pay attention to the feedback. And if you have any other questions about anything else, contact me and we'll get that together for you. Thank you so much for joining me today for a little lunch and a little real estate. Join me every Wednesday at noon for some real estate. I'll be here next Wednesday. Hopefully you will be too. I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.